Hello, Freedom Guy 55 here again. I wanted to take some time. I'm going to do a little something different. Actually going to recommend certain particular movies that pretty much have been, I guess, forgotten long ago. And I guess I'm going to start with the action genre. Apparently, there are these, during the time of the 80s, in the beginning of the 80s, the three heavyweights of course, action brought us Die Hard, which is Bruce Willis, and Rambo, which is Sly Stallone. I call him Sly still, but of course he is Sylvester Stallone. And Terminator, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Anyway, during this time in the start of the 80s, it pretty much got this kind of, I guess you would say, gave this kind of action, during the time of the mid 1980s and mid 1990s. There was, I guess, a lot of throwaway action films, certain particular type of action films that were here and then they were gone. They didn't have a sequel, or they weren't really extremely popular. And I'm going to actually recommend a few during this particular time period, because I believe that this is where the action genre actually was really entertaining. It's just the way I feel. And I am going to recommend a few to you. The first one is actually the most well-known out of all the others, but yet I still like it, and you probably had forgotten about it long ago. And it's directed by a director that had just came out with a top-grossing film again. But anyway, that first movie is True Lies. Apparently, this movie is directed by, of course, James Cameron, and it stars, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who has a co-collaboration with him in the past, of course, with Terminator. James Cameron directed Terminator, by the way. Anyway, and Terminator 2. But anyway, the one thing is that this is about a man named Harry Tasker, an agent that's working in secret, and he doesn't even tell his family. Well, anyway, he winds up getting caught up into this kind of terrorism activity, a terrorism case that he's working on. And apparently during that, he winds up finding out that his wife's lying to him, and he may be having an affair. So he winds up trying to find it out, as he's also going after this terrorist. I do recommend it. Next one. It's two movies together on one disc. I'm showing DVDs here. But anyway, there's Tango and Cash and Cobra. Two films that were in the 80s. Cobra is basically based upon this, no-nonsense cop. They call him Cobra, basically. Anyway, he's takes the jobs that nobody else wants to take. And he's trying to track down this serial killer and protect this woman. It's also directed by George P. Cosmatos. I think that's his name. He's the one that directed Tombstone, if you didn't know. The second film, of course, is Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash is about two rival cops that don't like each other. And they wind up having to work together because there's this drug lord, played by Jack Palance, who wants to take them out of the picture because it's bad for business for them to be remaining cops. So he winds up framing them and putting them in jail and whatnot, and they escape and they try to get him. I do recommend these two films. Next one is kind of an action thriller. It's called Surviving the Game. It has Rutger Hauer, Charles S. Dutton, Gary Busey, and Ice-T. As well as also it has John C. McGinley. Hopefully I said it right. If you don't know what that name is, you might know him as playing Dr. Cox in Scrubs, by the way. But anyway, it's about this homeless man that gets pretty much is asked to be help, is asked by certain particular game hunters or whatever to help them out with their hunting. Anyway, apparently he doesn't know that the helping out happens to be that he's game and that they wind up hunting humans. So he's winding up running through the woods trying to actually survive from these kind of psychotic hunters. I do recommend it. It's Surviving the Game. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. I love this. And it has, of course, Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke's awesome. I mean, he played Marv, for crying out loud. Anyway, this is a basic guy movie. Okay, this is guy all the way. Anyway, two friends wind up actually trying to help save their other friend's bar from going into foreclosure, so they wind up knocking over an armored car. Apparently, it winds up being run by a corrupt bank that is selling drugs on the black market. So they go through so they're pretty much in trouble by this evil bank lord, so to speak. So I do recommend it. The pretty much character in that is pretty awesome, and I like it. Next one, Demolition Man. Yeah, I love this film just basically because its action mainly. I mean, it takes place pretty much in the near future from where it was, of course, which is in 1993 mainly, and it's the near future of 1997 or so. It pretty much depicts the LA riots and whatnot. Anyway, and it's about a cop, played by Sly Stallone, who winds up trying to go after a criminal, played by Wesley Snipes. And apparently, in the process, a lot of people got killed, and he gets blamed for it, and then he gets put on ice, literally. And he's not woken until a certain particular date. Well, apparently, in the future, there's this actual evil dictator who's running everything and trying to control everybody. And apparently, he winds up releasing Wesley Snipes to stop this kind of underground rebellion that is against him. And then, Sly Stallone gets revived to stop Wesley Snipes, so on and so forth. Anyway, I do recommend it. It's really good. And, of course, it has also Denis Leary in it. So, it's pretty cool. Next one is Passenger 57. Love it. This is actually one of Wesley Snipes' very, very good action films. And he plays it really quite well. I think he works for the FAA as some sort of, federal marshal or whatnot. And he's trying to stop this kind of evil psychotic from, taking over the plane and killing all its passengers. And, of course, he's stopping his minions, too. It's really very good, and I do recommend it. And this is Commando! You gotta love Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. He basically is this former special ops guy who winds up retired and in hiding from other people who he may have, pissed off, so to speak, during his time. Well, he winds up getting found by one of them, and his daughter gets kidnapped, and this kind of evil dictator wants him to cooperate, and he doesn't wind up doing that, and he winds up going after him and to save his daughter. So it's a good film, and I do recommend it. Next one, The Last Boy Scout. This is a pretty awesome film. It's got, of course, Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis. Anyway, it's about this former football pro and I believe like an ex-cop or whatnot. Anyway, they have like disgraced careers or whatever. Yeah. And anyway, they wind up teaming up together because they get caught into this particular kind of plot where this rich man wants to bump off and kill off this guy, this politician, because the only way that he'll vote his way is by, paying him off a whole bunch of money, and that this rich person doesn't want to pay it off. So he has a plot to kill him so that he can get the vote to legalize all sports gambling his way. So I do recommend this. It's very good action, and of course the characters are pretty cool. The next one is Running Man. Running Man is a very good movie. It's about, of course, this guy who's wrongfully accused of killing people, and he winds up having to play a game in the future where people are running pretty much literally for their lives. Certain particular criminals are, being put into this kind of game where they have to run away from certain particular people out to kill them. And it's all shot in front of everybody and everything. And I do recommend it. And this was actually before the movie Condemned, mind you. Okay? So, I do recommend it. And last but not least, I think I left this for last because many people don't know about this, and this is pretty much my favorite out of all of them. And plus, it is the only one I know of that I would consider a blaxploitation film of the 80s. And it works a hell of a lot better than the other blaxploitation films. Well, maybe not Shaft. More than likely not Shaft. But anyway, it's called Action Jackson. It is a very, very... I really like this film, and I think Carl Weathers should have gone on. It has Carl Weathers, Vanity, Greg T. Nielsen, and Sharon Stone in a brief role. Anyway, Carl Weathers should have gone on to be, an action star for the kind of, black community or whatnot, because he was just really awesome in this film. I mean, he flipped over a taxi. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I just enjoy it, and it's a film that basically many people don't really seem to have a tendency to remember anymore, and I feel that many people should get it. But it's about a cop that has a reputation for action, of course, and he winds up trying to stop this kind of evil guy from doing an assassination attempt on a person. Anyway, I do recommend it. I think it's really good. So, Action Jackson. Remember that film. Watch that film. If you don't remember any of these other films, remember this one. And that's pretty much it. That's my recommendations for throwaway action films. You don't really have to see any of these, but I do recommend them. And if you ever do have a movie night or whatnot, watch at least one of them. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's pretty much it. And I thank you for your time, and have a nice day.